It almost feels like the club stays the same radius the whole time. You're just turning your whole operation.
That feel more then.
Close.
That's underneath.
Yeah, so if you did that exact same motion, but your club was bottoming out later, it would have been a happy story. So imagine that divot exiting left and past the ball. Better. Should start to feel it a little different.
Yeah, I had the divot later.
Let me grab one of my sticks. Let me go ahead and get set up in there. I just kind of want to wrap my head around what I want to do here. Try to stay on top of that. So maybe it would be beneficial to come back here and just kind of look from this perspective, see what we're trying to do. I'll grab my club here. So right now, we're doing it kind of traditional, where it's sort of down the line and out there. Let's just try to figure out how to occupy more space out here. It's almost going to feel like this. It's going to be this. It's almost like it's just that your circle is tilted instead of dead neutral. We're tilting our circle like that.
Got it. Okay, I got you.
So from there, if I'm there, I can just go cut across it. I don't even ever get close to this stick.
Oh, all right. Okay, all right.
And that helps me hit the outside of the ball.
Got it.
That way I won't muff it. I'll never hit it fat.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
It's all right. Keep the hands real passive, and it's just like a real rotary deal here. Yes, that looked like a golfer.
Good? Okay.
Just the aggressiveness of it.
Okay. So really, come outside and in like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
Exit in left field. A little bit shorter, so let's just go one lever until you understand the pattern. There you go. That was salty. So what you were introducing was that second lever. It just overcomplicates it. You'll see pros hit it up really far, 60-yard shots where there's no wrist manipulation at all. It's essentially a one plane, yep.
Okay. Got it.
So try to hit that side. Does that make sense, like 3D, how you can get that way?
Yeah, I think so. I've been spending so much time going straight back and then.
Yeah. It's helpful to imagine that you're just swinging, you set your feet and your body a little left or open, and then you can feel like you just swing along your body line, which is effectively left of the target. Ball position a little forward. You want it to be a little more. Yep, yeah, that'll force you to get over to that left side. That looks beautiful. Okay, a little quick. Yep, overall rhythm. Just imagine you're trying to hit it to the end of the green grass here. Nice. That's really good.
Okay, all right, I got that to practice on. You want to hit some regular iron?
Yeah. So I brought my my new gizmo here. We'll see if it'll be helpful.
What you got?
This is my George Gankis G-Box is what he calls it.
Okay, I have no idea what that is.
So basically it has one of these lines on it like we did with the alignment stick. So when you get from this perspective, you might remember the alignment sticks that we have, and we were trying to match it down there.
Right.
So that's essentially been replaced by this. So we can understand that we're hitting that checkpoint, and then these blocks make sure everything's turning in sequence. It's not too armsy, not too flaily.
Oh, really?
So depending on where you're at, we might want to try this bad boy.
All right. Yeah, let's try that. Very good. Yeah, because what I've been
Yeah.
Really long. I've lost all my power in terms of the short. I'm getting way up here like
Okay.
this now with pitches. And I can't seem to stop it. I don't know why. Hey, there you go. I went right like this.
Okay.
Went right like that. I don't know how I just did that. I literally got it so I could stop myself when I started to do that. Oh, God. Yeah, now I'm horrible.
Okay.
Now.
So let's remember sort of a more efficient strike
Yeah.
with this guy in here. Start small, figure out how we can get that stick behind us,
Okay.
and it's just going to be a more body-driven swing and less, you know, emphasis on timing up the hands. So did we do this where you kind of grasp this in between
Yeah.
the, okay, feel that real like one piece. It kind of makes sense geometrically
Yeah.
why everything is where it is.
I got it.
And then do a few just turns. Don't, that's beautiful. Okay, and then make sure that you get that chest through, yep. Yep. So just a couple to the end of the range here. If you get too aggressive, you'll smack yourself on the rib, but.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
See, I came right across that. How did I just do that?
So just keep it real simple. Feel like it almost stays glued to this axis and just see what happens. There you go. That's kind of more of the theory of the strike we're going for, where it's very passive hands, real aggressive
Is that what I'm doing? Is my
body.
hands
Yeah, at the top, it's like they're getting out of gear at the top. Like you're here and then they detach.
Right.
And then you have to come down and figure out how to get back into gear. So we're never going to leave the gear.
Okay, good.
Less hands, and the hands are going to be passive. It's going to happen naturally. You don't have to force
I don't know how all right, that's what I lost. I've lost all feeling. I remember I never had to worry about my hands ever with
Yeah.
this book, and then I can figure it out now.
Ball position's too far back. That's going to cause issues too. You always want to have it up here. That's going to feel miles up, but.
Really?
Yep.
Even for like an 8-iron?
Yep. Really? That's barely ahead of center. Yep. That's going to force you to get that that weight shifting over on the other side, just slightly forward of center. Okay. Imagine, just like with that pitch, your divot is exiting almost kind of over here. Okay. There you go. All right. So let's hit a few without the stick, where you're just ratcheting up. Each time, try to just hit it like 10 yards further than the last.
That's far forward. God, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, that's not even crazy. That's just barely, like a ball ahead of center. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. You're getting rid of the floaty hands.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, or just get back to a rotary thing. The hands will do what they do. Excellent, really good. I'm gonna grab something here. All right, so that's sort of the control part. And I just want to kind of let you have some fun for a second. I'm going to step in here. Okay. And looking back at old video, we're starting to get you into cool new positions, but there's still this kind of, it's not fear, but it's just, you're not used to attacking the golf ball. No. I want you to start attacking the golf ball. So just going to have some fun, seeing what happens to our body if we're just trying to smack this thing as hard as we can. Okay. And it's going to allow your body to just do what it would do naturally to hit this thing as hard as you can. See how my body's kind of clearing? Yeah. We talked about getting that yeah. That's our impact position. Yeah. You know, nobody gets there except for the legends, Lee Trevino and stuff, but if we can at least tell our body what it's supposed to feel like, we can start to crank it. So let's see a couple of that magic impact position. Kind of where you come to rest. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's such a clean pattern. That's so good. There's so few moving parts there. Okay, cool. Now, what does that inspire with a club in hand?
Same thing.
Same simplicity, just start small and ratchet up. I think you'll feel just a little bit of freedom. So body turn, but feel that general kind of opening, that impact. Solid strike a little off to the right, so that's always going to be a club face thing.
Is that all that is? I felt like I hit it.
Just focus on contact right now. Let's get your speed back. Direction will come later. Nice. Just seems a little faster. Can you feel sort of like a ghost position before you trigger? Like Matthew Wolf does, he kind of comes in here. He's like, okay, that's where I need to get. How do I get there? And then it's almost just like, that's your goal.
I don't feel like I'm fighting myself. I've always felt with my strokes that I'm fighting myself, trying to get out or popping up.
Okay.
Pop up all the time. That's where I really struggle. So I feel like I get it out of my own way, I guess.
Yeah, if you just don't flinch, if you just do what you were doing on that den caddy, flinching's when you come up and out. Go ahead and hit that ball. Have you noticed as you've been playing more like typical carry numbers for your irons yet, or is it still pretty vague?
Definitely, I definitely feel like I have yardage down for my iron. Certainly within 10 yards, even close to 5.
Cool. That helps.
I'll have a duff or something like that.
So how far are you carrying your 7 iron?
I can hit my 7 iron 175.
Oh wow.
Sorry, 7 iron. Sorry, 155.
55 in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Most people confuse their total with their carry, and then that you can't put a game plan together. You gotta know how far it carries.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say about 150, 155. Yeah, 'cause my 8's 140, 145. Yeah, 155 for 7. Yeah.
Setup looks nice and simple, by the way. Looks good.
Farther forward, how's that?
See if we can hit that side of the golf ball. Divot.
You want me to come around this
Yep.
way?
Yeah, just a couple. See if you can point a divot to the left. Nice hit. You're gonna try. I'm gonna trend you towards that for everything. For pitches, it helps you with ball first contact. With irons, you know all the greats play a little fade in the wind in Texas.
Yeah,
So.
I was trying to overcompensate hitting so far inside. I got all screwed up, so I don't mind coming from the outside at all.
Yeah, I think the swing you got to look at as like a side effect of how you're trying to attack the ball. Right. So if all your mind is occupied with is attack in such a way where my divot is like, that's my exit pattern.
Yeah.
That's sort of my bullet hole. I want it down and to the left. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
How good did that feel?
That felt great. Yeah, okay. So come from the outside. I like that.
In it, you'll see the video. You'll be right on plane.
Really?
You've just been getting a little sloppy, getting out of gear, and then it tries to work out here to catch up.
Yeah.
So now we're just removing that need for float. We're going here and then back around the other way. It's almost a one plane kind of situation.
Yeah.
But
the other way, I felt I was getting very loopy-loop. I felt like I was kind of like insecure.
well, you had to put the club on the ball. You were just kind of getting out of sync.
Okay.
Divot left, down and left.
Farther forward.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Just a 1 yard fade.
Yeah, I'll take that all day long.
That's awesome.
I knew you could do it for me.
Yeah, you've got good fundamentals now. Your setup's good, your grip's good, so you're never going to get that far off. Usually it's a setup thing.
So farther forward, got it.
Yeah, that's good. Just a ball or so in front of dead center. Yeah, it was a little pull, correct.
So what is that? Did I just close the club a little bit?
Yeah, just a slightly shut face relative to the rest of the swings that you made.
Oh God, no! I did the exact same
Okay,
thing.
I saw your club kind of go through this direction here.
I don't know how that.
That's all right. It's going to be a hard habit to break, but it's almost like you're trying to not hit this thing. Exit. And it might be helpful for you to feel, go back to start. It might be helpful just for you to feel on your backswing, you're occupying out here just a tad longer.
Okay.
That kind of primes you to be able to have, do you see how that would give you more room to attack that side of the ball?
Yeah.
If I start out here, then I can come straight across that way. If I come back in here, then I got to reroute to try to get on the other side of the ball. But if I feel like off the ball, almost like this kind of feel, it's extreme, but that's kind of what you're doing. You're setting up yourself to be able to swing across that ball, catch the outside of the perimeter here.
Okay.
So maybe just feel that slight different takeaway so you can allow yourself to have that divot aimed left. Nice!
That felt good.
That was so crunchy.
Okay. That felt good. Yeah, I don't think about my wrist at all. Cause my
Good.
wrist was, I was trying to hit balls. You know, I've been trying to take advantage of this pandemic as best I can, so I've been hitting balls like darn near every day.
Good.
And my wrist was just starting to
Yeah, it just happens. You don't have to force any position. Even the guys that you see with like Dustin Johnson super bowed, that just happens. He doesn't think about that. But you're set up in such a way where your wrist should be pretty neutral and still be able to hit these shots.
So coming out, coming out.
Yeah, you want to feel super shot. Yeah, you want to generally feel like that first move is that way. That's an exaggeration as opposed to there.
Yeah.
That gives me room. So I'm already here. I might as well just, with a bunch of speed, clip the outside of that ball, and I'm just going to cut everything.
Right.
1 yard cut never hurts.
Oh, no. I don't know where to get that. I don't know how to do that one.
Little floaty.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, you just start to get kind of aspirational. Once you hit a good one, you want to hit it further.
I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. No, that was awesome.
A little quick. Brush this away on your backswing.
Okay.
And then kind of come into the ball, almost coming over where this one used to be. See how you would come here and then exit left?
Okay. Oh, no.
Okay. Just bottomed out a little early. So keep bottoming out early is when we stop this from turning. We stop getting to that smack position like we rehearsed on the den caddy.
Yeah.
It's just a little kind of up and out deal.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah, as soon as you stop turning, that club is going to nosedive for the ground.
Okay.
Greasy turn, hit the outside of the ball, divot goes left. Nice.
How do I keep myself from hitting? I feel like I'm getting farther and farther back. Like I'm getting caught up farther and I'm going back farther. How do I keep it to a short, powerful swing?
Just a mirror.
Yeah.
I mean, a position you can become aware of is, so they call P1 setup, and then P2 is left arm, actually P3 is left arm parallel with the ground. And it's good to know about how far you can hit it left arm parallel versus all the way up. It's just something to play around with. I think an increased awareness of different backswing lengths will help you kind of moderate it. And if you want to hit kind of a knockdown shot, you do kind of do a 3/4 and a bit of a sawn off follow through. But a stock shot, you know, you want as much rotation as you can. Yeah, just feel like, remember that geometry of that club kind of resting against your rib cage, where you had this thing? Yeah.
Hold tight and
Yeah, it all moves together one piece, but our one piece, instead of coming back in this way, is going to just trend towards that way a little. It seems silly, but
I feel like it's because I get detached from my arm. So when I tuck my shoulders, do I get detached?
it'll happen naturally.
Okay.
Just soft hands, but feel that first move. And this is a tiny thing. Yep.
How come I only get like half a swing there? Like I don't come all the way through. What is that? 'Cause I was finding that for a while where it's getting warm out here. there for a while where I wasn't getting a full follow through, where I was just kind of talking. I wasn't sure if that was a bad sign, like I was passing my club or something like that.
No, I mean impact is really the moment of truth. Everything else is kind of gravy.
Okay.
If you're happy with how you're striking it and your finish position leaves a little to be desired, I mean, that's everybody in history. There's just different degrees of it. You know, if you've got all your weight onto your left side, I mean, everybody's finish is a little different. I kind of get through and then it kind of bounces off my shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, I want you to finish in balance, but I don't see anything that I would...
So it's not bad if it just stops out here.
No, just if you're at your level of golf, if you can produce a shot that is somewhat like you're trying to do, I mean, that's a win.
Okay.
And the rest...
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was an indicator.
No.
Okay.
Weight in the balls of your feet.
Yeah, let me go back to the base of your shoulder. I had that fat though.
That's just, it's getting out of gear. Keep it in gear the whole time. You don't need to detach or separate.
Okay. Put it back in.
All right. Never hit this. Nice. That feel a little better?
That felt a lot better. That felt a lot freer. I definitely get jammed down there. I really
Yeah. So I think it might be helpful one more time to kind of just visualize what I'm trying to help you to do. If you stand here, I'll get in where you are. So I'm trying to give you all of this room over here to play with.
Yeah.
So I can attack the ball like that. And generally you're barely clearing this thing as you race to get, you know, enough room. And sometimes if your body doesn't get out of the way enough, you hit it fat.
Yeah.
But if you can just learn to use all this space, I mean, you will just, I mean, that was a terrible shot, but
Okay, I got your point.
it's just if we can change sort of the trajectory of your swing from here to there is the feeling, you'll just be able to have so much more control, and you'll trend towards neutral because you're just stuck a little bit on this side of things. I want you to be able to attack the ball with speed instead of having to slow your body down in order to get the club on it. I want you to be able to crack the whip.
That's exactly how it feels. You're right, that descriptor. That's a great descriptor, Clay. That's exactly what I feel like. I have to slow down and get caught up and everything's all.
Yeah.
And that's why I was just getting all messed in my mind. I was like, how is this going so horribly?
Right, and so that's what this is. This is, every little kid's been out in the woods and has perfect form and making a stick whoosh, but for whatever reason we think we got to do it fancy. Just get that baby, see what that does to my lower body to get that speed up.
Can I get one of those smash bags? You know,
Oh yeah, for sure.
go sit and
Yeah,
hang out?
definitely. Outside of the ball. Nice.
Yeah, that felt much better.
And you'll see, even though it feels like you're swinging to left field, you're basically back on neutral.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to see what that looks like. Okay. I like it though. I feel that's much more comfortable with it.
Yeah, you just have more room to roam out there instead of out there.
Okay, much more room.
And it would help setting your shoulders slightly open. Just so get real. You're real aware of your musculature and fitness and stuff. So just kind of get neutral, and figure out where, you know, where there's these different kind of plates basically. So set your shoulder plate a little open relative to everything else, and see how that would influence. Say I was like that. My rotary motion would be here, there. So it would be kind of here, over that way, as opposed to if my setup gets here, for instance, my rotary motion is going to be it's going to be a little bit stuck. It's going to be up and out. So that little slight adjustment here sets an intention of, if I want to hit the outside of the ball, I'm just going to get slightly open. I'm not going to take the full bottle of aspirin, but instead of being hung back here, or even neutral, if I'm trying to hit the outside of the ball, why not get a little bit open so at impact I'm at that Lee Trevino open chest. There's less time that you got to make up for. You're already open a little bit.
And how far are you forward?
Just let him hang.
See, there I felt like I went right up there.
Okay.
I felt myself in that.
Well,
So that means I got to come out here more.
hang it, stay in there, stay in there.
Yeah.
Let's do this guy again just to feel the one piecer.
Yeah, yeah. I went, yeah.
So there. Instead of there, you're coming here.
Yeah.
It's real subtle, but it just sets you up to be on a better plane in order to hit the outside of the ball.
Okay. Yeah. I felt like I just raised right up there.
Divot.
I feel it in my wrist.
Divot right there, exiting left. Smash down on that ball. Nice.
So there, what did I do right beforehand? What was that bad thing that I did? I just used my arms and went right up like that?
Yeah, it's just immediately, instead of it all working together, instead of it all going together here, where we don't have any manipulation yet, there's just already all sorts of elbows bending and wrists flailing. For the first few feet of the swing, it should really be one lever. The wrist hinge happens sort of as a result of, I don't know all the proper physics terms, but as a result of sort of the force, your hand ends up bending the way it should based on the way it hinges. At a certain point, if I just keep going for here, my swing's never going to get long. But as soon as I introduce that new lever, look at how much space that creates just by doing that. And that's how you can kind of create the illusion of this long full swing, is with a big wrist hinge. But the first few feet, long story short, is just one piece takeaway. It feels like you are staying on top of this in three-dimensional space. It would almost probably feel like this for you. So start neutral.
Like I'm going straight up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in an extreme circumstance, so you would never ever do this, but imagine you wanted to go here and there.
Okay.
So I'm trending you towards a more neutral plane, so you'll be able to hit both shots eventually, but now I just want you to hit cuts. Arms just hang. It feels like the swing just sort of happens as a result of our turn. Good.
Yeah. What I like is when I swing the right way, I don't think about my hands at all, or
Yeah.
my arms at all.
Just think about how you want to hit the ball. What dimple do you want to hit, and where do you want that divot to be? Okay. Give me a divot every time. If you do not have a divot, you're basically allowing yourself to flip.
Is that what I'm doing?
Yeah, if you flip before you get to the ball in order to get the ball up in the air, then you have lost kind of all your compression. But if you're holding that angle and we're on that side of the plane, we can hold. Theoretically, you could hold forever. I mean, nobody's going to. But by occupying this space, you don't flip as much generally. Nice. So that's about as hard as I would ever want to see you swing. That would be your 110%. You want to kind of live what's going to feel like 75%.
75, 80,
Shoulders maybe it's touch open. That allows us to hit the outside of the ball.
Turning it like that?
Yeah, so just get aware of where your body is. So feet a little left, shoulders slightly left of your feet, just for theory's sake. Remember the effortless body motion that hitting the den caddy with this orange stick. It was just kind of a reactionary.
I got there and I got...
Uh-huh.
How did I do that? There we go.
Dude.
That's what I want. I don't know. I guess that means I'm pulling it behind myself is what it is.
It's just, it just gets off on the wrong foot in the first couple of inches of the takeaway, and stick with that visual of hitting the outside of the ball, I think, on a very three-quarter swing.
God, once you taste that compression.
Yeah, I know.
Oh God.
Yeah, you feel like how it's supposed to feel.
Oh my God, this is so amazing. So fast. Good. Somewhat better. Oh, come on, get up.
Let's try this thing, see if it does anything for you. It's going to be kind of a cousin of the orange stick,
Okay.
but maybe a little bit different feel.
Oh, there's a foot there.
Yes.
Down my hips or right up here?
Let it ride right there.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's just grab a club and hit some chips.
Okay.
See what it kind of does to force your arms to move with your chest.
Okay.
And maybe just a 100-yarder. Good. So as you turn back,
Stay outside again.
well, get in there.
Okay.
And then remember the feeling of trying to match that line with this line right. You see the line right here?
So,
There you go.
Okay.
It's just going to kind of reinforce that hip pivot. Good. The feet and legs kind of drive the whole swing. They're sort of, if you can get the lower body moving right, you're going to get your weight shift and the whole nine. Sweet. That's really efficient.
Better?
Just super efficient. Yeah, you'll build yourself into a full swing that's as simple as that with more practice. But that's the way to practice, is to hit a zillion three-quarter shots like this with compression. You felt the compression there.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so that's what I should do.
You should just
Like
be,
that's what's going to reset me.
until that's your new normal where you're just hitting three-quarter compressed shots, this is what you practice.
Oh, God.
And if you're starting to get chunky, just simplify. Just a little fast. Yep. Or just a little fast. Just build yourself up from speeds where you're able to get clean contact. Crawl before we walk. Okay. Beauty.
That feels better.
You should feel like you never leave the foundation of your lower body. You never have to get outside of where your hips start.
Okay.
It's like they just turn around this axis.
Oh, really? Okay. That's good to know.
That way you kind of have a fixed point around which you're rotating.
Okay.
Never got to get outside of your shoes is another way to think of it, but there you go.
That was definitely better.
It's just going to happen in a tighter arc.
Yeah. So not as much to wiggle around.
You're not going to have a twisting, moving platform on top of trying to hit an object.
Oh, God. I don't know why I did that.
That's all right. It was just in your way.
Yeah.
So you can work your way up to hitting full swings with this thing, but let's match that position on the ground. Hang on. Important to feel that hip getting properly over there.
Yeah.
Almost like, can you get there without pain, or is that strain?
Oh, no.
That's fine. Okay, yeah. And then, there you go. Good.
How much do you, sometimes I feel like my leg locks out and I just drop my
You
hips
want to
up.
keep, though, do what you did on the second time around. You want to keep a little flexion in
Zero
it.
tension. So you're like fighting back is what you're
No, it doesn't feel bad. I mean, it's just like I'm loading into this joint.
Yeah.
I'm never coming up and out of it, but I'm loading into it that way.
And how much is in your heel versus, how much bend do you keep in it? Do you just let it drop back like that, or do you?
I get about like this. My legs work pretty good, and that's about what I do.
Okay, all right, so you keep the tension on, so you don't just let it drop. Okay.
Yeah, I want to feel like some potential energy stored up in that joint
Okay, I got you.
without it being locked out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I use that to build speed. Ooh, that was so confident looking.
Yeah.
Ball position too far back there.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. Divot slightly in front of the ball, maybe even exiting left. You,
How's that? Much better?
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to build a more efficient machine, and
Yeah,
this
no,
is,
I want nice and replicable.
yeah, this is going to be not as powerful to start out, but you're going to hit it more efficiently.
Let me try to take a full swing now.
So that's that club just coming in. It's almost dead perfect on plane now, and then at the last second, this just flips through a little bit.
Really?
As opposed to another theory you could think about is hitting the outside of the ball, and the only really way to, there's really no way to get to the outside of the ball by flipping that way. It doesn't make sense. So the only way to get there is to get on top of the plane and then hold on for dear life. It's almost like you never release. That's what's effectively happening when you compress the ball. You haven't quite released it yet.
Let me try to see if I can do that. Oh, no. Try to hold down, but it didn't go.
Yeah, it'll be probably a subconscious thing. Probably primed by the exit pattern that you're looking for. Try to, like you've done so well, get that divot over there.
Okay, farther up.
Yeah, ball position and ball forward to center.
Shoot.
It's okay. It's just a quick, inefficient move. It's when you hit them good, 3/4, it's enticing to try to ramp up the speed. There you go, but bring it more up and out. There you go, yeah, that's the feel.
Oh, God, that was awful. Awful. What up there? Can I move this for a second?
Yeah.
Let me try something different. Shoot, I had it, now I can't get it back.
Oh, you got it.
Okay, I know where I'm going here.
All right. So what's your theory? Take us inside your head right now.
I wanna build some resistance here.
Okay.
So I'm not
Swaying, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to just tilt here. The hard part is I'm trying to figure out how much. I guess I'm trying to figure out my shoulders. So my shoulders are having me roll this way.
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out, do I detach my arms and go like this to stay out there, or am I digging my shoulders down more to try to stay that way?
Well, let's start with how the shoulders are kind of moving.
Yeah.
So we want them to almost feel like it's a pull back this way and then a pull back through that way, but it happens on a tilted plane. So we're going pull, pull. Let's just start with that.
Okay.
Drop the club,
Yeah.
and then let's just feel like maybe we've got like a rope or something we're twisting around this pole.
Like you're punching somebody almost?
Yeah, perfect. That's how your shoulders are going to turn.
Okay.
And your hips are doing exactly what they need to be doing.
Yeah, that's a good warm up actually.
Yeah, that's pretty much perfect
Okay.
pivoting. So try that on the ball. Chuck Cook used to do that one. He'd do a rope and then just have people yank on it. Oh, that clicked.
Yeah, that felt good.
Cool. And you see how that kind of keeps you inside the foundation of your feet too?
Yeah.
You can go pull, your head stays pretty stable,
Yeah.
but you're getting that big turn inside kind of a tight area.
Yeah, that's good for me to practice and warm up with. I like that.
You're doing it well too.
That was good. Okay. Oh no. Shoot. No, I got too big. Just a huge swing there. Got excited. I really got to think 3/4 swing. That's just what it
Yeah.
is for me.
Sweet.
Yeah, I just got to think 3/4 swing.
And it's a really high quality shot.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, 3/4 swing. Do you mind trying to do that with the driver for a little bit?
Yeah,
Now that I got that, I just want to figure out how in the world I'm going to do that.
yeah. It's the same thing. You just got to be a little more patient because the implement's
Yeah,
longer.
because what kills me in the driver is I either feel I have to go way back here and then kind of go way out and then that's where I slice, or
So when you just did that right there, that was as if we were going on the rope, and then we get to about here and then the arms go.
got it.
As opposed to letting that, I bet if you let it develop like that, and you get that chest coming all the way around and all the way around, you'll be surprised by what happens.
Really? Do you have any keys on here?
Yeah, I actually do not, but,
My bag.
oh, you do?
Yeah, I just can't figure out my driver. I'll get it and then I'll lose it. I'll get it, then I'll lose it.
It's because you're flippy floppy with your arm. You're not a big turn.
Yeah.
As soon as this big turn becomes the norm, there's no need for the arms to reach for more. They only go along with the body.
Sure.
They're not acting independently.
Okay.
So the big chest turn, pulling the rope, is the same feel here. Rehearse that a couple times if you will. So really build big, yeah, build big. Try to get your shoulders, there you go. And it's gonna feel like you're doing that with the club in your hand, but it's not like you're forcing it, but just make sure you give it time to develop.
Okay.
Ball position forward.
Yep.
Just pull on that rope.
Yeah, I do that.
Okay. So let's talk about how we could set up differently to negate that. So we're talking about a shoulder tilt that was a little out here. So the force of the club coming around is going to want to force my wrist to break earlier.
Yeah.
So almost the same as when we're trying to hit the outside of the ball. If we just have a slight awareness change in our shoulders to come ever so slightly left of target, that's going to allow me to turn, hold that angle and catch the outside of the ball.
Oh, really?
Long story short, just a tiny bit more open shoulders that's set up.
I'm doing it all wrong that whole time.
And then just clip the outside of the ball. We're going to try to create pretty much the same swing throughout the bag. Just, oh, Nate!
Yeah, like that. That was super cool. That's what I want to do. Wow, okay, I've been fighting it all wrong because I've been leaning back like this.
Yeah, no. Try to cut every shot
Oh,
until it's easy.
Okay. Oh God, that was way over the top.
It's all right. Pull the rope outside of the ball. Nice.
Yeah, I'll take that. I like that.
Good shot.
I'll take that. Because I get so similar in my shots that I've been trying to stall them here to try to hit them, and then I just slice it or I just.
Yeah. You want to attack the ball. You don't, and by being on this side of the plane, we got all the room in the world to go as fast as we want with the hips. If we're under the plane, then we all of a sudden have to stall the hips and then get the hands back over.
Yeah.
But this just allows you to be a lot more aggressive.
Okay. That's what I need. That's exactly what I need. Oh, see that? I just went like that.
All right. As soon as your awareness gets caught by something, that's a good reset. It should all kind of blend together like a smoothie. No, I like it. You're trying to hit it hard now. The release will almost happen after the strike is the feel. You don't want to encourage that. It's just sort of a side effect. Pull the rope. Rope. Nice. Yeah.
So jammed.
All right, put one right at the chimney.
Okay, let me try to really, like I'm
Yeah, do like you're on the first tee. Everybody's watching with a cocktail in hand. No pressure. All right, tiny draw. Good contact. So what if we feel like our shoulders are slightly more open?
yeah, a little bit more open.
Tilt that whole mechanism. You know, if I had this pointing out of my shoulders, where is it aiming at setup? I would say in general yours is a little bit there. All I want is to be about there. That way, as I turn, I'm trending towards an opening chest. I'm trending towards the outside of the ball on just a real simple rope pull. Pull, pull.
Oh, wow, yank that over.
So you got the path right there, and then the face went ahead and turned over. So that's kind of cool. You're starting to get more comfortable occupying the outsides of the ball. So then ratchet it in a little bit. Try to barely hit the outside edge of the equator.
Let me really try to.
Okay, 1 yard cut at the chimney. It's a good strike.
Is that just close the face? Is that what I'm doing?
I'll do a video to show you why. It's all the same stuff. It's just a little remnant of still coming a little in out on it.
Let's try one more. And then will you spend the 5 minutes, whatever we got, for just a clock shot? Real
Yeah, I'm in no rush.
All right, thanks, bud. All right, so how do you open this up? You just
You kind of want your feet and your shoulders open.
so open up a little bit. Okay.
And then if my shoulders are sky high here, they're basically level, if anything, slightly open.
Okay, slightly over. Got it.
And then just turn with that pull of the rope. Okay.
That just cut across that a bit?
Yeah, it was essentially a little bit of this as opposed to that.
Got it, got it. Come down, come down.
These are kind of nitpicky. I mean, the fact that you're hitting it like you're hitting it is pretty awesome. So stay encouraged. We're just gonna stick with that rope pull feel. Rehearse a couple more of those.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Just where you feel like you're staying inside your frame. Yeah, that's great. That's basically the golf swing. The faster you can do that, the better. But it has to be that same thing. The arms are just sort of along for the ride. Nice.
That felt good.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, I take that all day long. I take that all day
It's like the swing kind of fills itself in
Yeah.
as a result of good pivoting.
Yeah.
You hit all those positions because your body is encouraging it.
Okay, help me, Clay, because I want to digest for a couple weeks before I come back.
Yeah.
Where am I going to go wrong? Where do I need to like reset myself? Or
So-
on the camera that so I can remember?
Yeah, so
You know I'm going to get off. I'm going to try to overhit.
right. So in effect, what we're trying to do is change your pattern from a little bit stuck inside to having plenty of room to come around the corner and hit the outside of the golf ball like that. That's a super exaggeration, but in effect, I'm moving you towards a one plane swing where it's kind of tilted like this. My divots are always going to exit left. That's going to be a really good drill for you. Those 3/4 shots, either with this stick primed against your chest and just turn, and figuring out how to get that divot down into the left. Because, do you understand that cause, like why it's down and to the left as opposed to being out in here?
I've been so trying for so long to be on the inside.
Yeah, it's
Against all of my proclivities or whatever, preferences.
that's like one way to do it. It's just kind of a, what's the way to put it?
Oh, you don't have to.
It's
I like
just,
the outside. You got
yeah,
it.
it's just kind of loose.
Yeah.
It's like timing oriented. This is more power, more consistent, and more powerful. Why wouldn't you want to do it, basically? So, and then ball position, your tendency is to get back here. You want it to be kind of a ball forward of center. The reason for that is it kind of encourages you to have more room, more time. If my ball's back here and I'm trying to get it around the corner on it, see where my hand is to that relative to, you know, I'm able to have more time to shift my weight left, and I still want to see that divot occurring here after that ball, because again, we're attacking from this direction. So we're gonna hit ball first and then ground.
Walk me through, if you would please. All right, so, you know, a pitching wedge here, 8 iron, 5 iron, like how, do I keep them the same? How much?
It's kind of the same. I'll send you a good illustration that was put out about how Arnold Palmer did it. Okay. And he would just kind of change on his real short wedges and stuff, he would actually drop this foot back slightly. Right. And it would have the effect of putting it in the same position as with his driver. He just played around with a little bit different stance width, but I'll show you that illustration, and I think that'll kind of give you a cool new little game theory for hitting balls. So other things where you're going to go wrong, that wrist is kind of cupping because we're not doing the rope pull. So when we do the rope pull, we're going to be more prone to getting that wrist bowed. You're not going to actively bow it, but if we're in here, we're toast, because all of a sudden we got to reroute and do all this crazy stuff. So it's just a more direct A to B back to C. You don't have to bring in all this other stuff. Yeah, okay. 3/4 shots, hitting the outside of the ball is a good cue. These rope pulls are obviously helpful. I mean, that's the best drivers I've seen you hit. Yeah. And I just like how you can kind of envision that. You see how we're staying inside our frame. Your move off the ball, there's a little bit of kind of a nervous bump and then go. Yeah. Eventually you're going to be able to just go bonk, bonk. Okay. It's just like starting that lawnmower immediately instead of going duh, okay. Sometimes I think that gets you out of gear. Okay. So if you can stand in here and just go boom, boom without that little bump. Let's try a couple like that. Okay, awesome. Wow, that's a huge summary. Thanks. Sorry if it's too complicated. No. I need all that. You'll have the receipts on video. Oh yeah, no. But you just know how I listen to you, I'm like, yeah. And then 5 days later I'm like, what the hell? I can't remember a thing you said. Like it's so easy to get yourself lost. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Well, the good news is you're going to have one swing for everything. You're going to hit a little 1-yard cut on everything is the goal. So stay in your frame and then just pull immediately. Oh, sweet. Wow, that's so much easier. And then you're just saying that and that? Yeah, there's even on that one, there was just like this little nervous, it went, Really? So just go boom, boom, real greasy. Start it greasy. But that was a super strike. It feels like a joke how easy the swing is. God, I've been fighting myself. A sick joke. So crazy for so long. Oh no, I didn't get that one. Didn't quite get around the corner on it. No, I didn't hit from the outside. Yeah, exactly. Okay. You're right, I do have that little nervous. Well, I used to do it too. I took a lesson and the guy's like, that is a terrible way to start a golf swing. Because I used to go like this. And then it was like, he's like, dude, just start and pivot. You can do it just like your rehearsal with the rope pull. So good. Okay. That's awesome. Just remember how simplistic that is. When you're hitting it terrible, just remember, wow, it can't be that easy. Because, I mean, every time I go out and play, I intend to hit it like that, and then I get hitty in here. You could do that all day and be super happy. Oh my God,
take the rest of my golf game for
Yeah,
the time.
so just remember the simplicity that's available. It's not always going to be kind of what you do.
Well, that's because I was getting so complex, and then
Yeah.
I was trying to go back to you know, the slouch over, and then I was coming here, and then I was kind of Jim Furicking it, and
Yeah.
I was a mess.
Because you weren't doing this.
Yeah.
It was a very minor chest turn.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I'm really going to just practice that.
And you see how that delivers you to our racquetball position.
Yeah.
It's just a different way to kind of get there.
Yeah. Right, do you have 30 seconds just for
Yeah.
a flop?
Yeah. So outside of the ball is going to be part of this too.
Okay.
That's part of the reason you have a hard time.
Something that can land softly.
So do them kind of one-handed for a few here without a ball.
Okay.
So if we're going that way, we want our body to be well left.
Okay.
Make sure we're not here and then twist it open. Start here and then set your club face open relative to that. You want the shaft to be straight up and down. You don't want any forward press. You don't want it really, you can have it leaning backward, but that's pretty exotic. You want it a wide open face, straight up and down, and then it's kind of the same thing. We're going to create a swing arc that goes here to there. Okay, we're tilting this circle like this in 3D space. We're going here, here, trying to catch the outside of the ball. And this is a 7-iron, and you can loft it like that. See how simple that is?
Yeah.
So start with that. You don't need much wrist hinge, just a small body-driven outside of the golf ball mentality. Body open, club.
Where's the ball? Like
Still forward of center slightly. Body's open, and then you're gonna feel like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then here.
So it's out to here. Bring it up and out. Pause, yep, and then it almost feels like you just come straight down from there and catch the outside of the ball.
Well, something better than that, but yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm asking you to do something pretty difficult, but hit a couple without a ball, where you just feel the club kind of swing with rhythm. Good.
Okay.
That thump is good. I like to hear that thump. That's the bounce getting through there. Same stuff out of the bunker. Two-hand it for a second. Let's try a two-hander. Try to catch the outside of that ball. Okay? And we're going to remove every bit of extraneous body movement. So off the ball, you're going.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Keep your levels nice and consistent.
Stay locked in.
And we're just gonna, I don't like locked, but stay level. Shoulders maybe slightly open, hips. There you go. And then just turn. There you go.
Like that?
Yeah, you were moving your chassis up and down and laterally while you're trying to.
So you're really.
It's
you're
you're,
like hitting out of the sand.
you're stationary. You're totally stationary. If anything.
How I hit out of sand. I come up like this.
Uh-huh.
And try to slice like across it like that underneath, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that theory.
Okay.
Just keep it real simple. Low body movement. Okay. I mean.
Just kind of like sliding underneath it. Right?
Exactly. It's like that scene in Ghostbusters where he pulls the tablecloth out and everything. You're just trying to cut the legs out from underneath it.
Okay. Got it.
So you can get crazy with the, I mean, you can turn it into a 90-degree wedge and cut across it, and it'll be.
Got it. Okay.
I want you to hit a couple more quality ones. I like that you have the general shape. Okay. No wrist hinge at all here. Just arms swinging. There you go.
There you go. I got it.
Simple. Keep it simple.
So just come underneath and then it'll drop. Okay.
Yeah, it's also got to get the outside edge. Given the fact that that club is coming down towards the ground, it has to be coming from the right side of the runway down into the left side of the runway. And you'll get to a point where you can cut the legs out from underneath it without really interfering with the turf at all. Zero turf interaction, but for now, if you can get it airborne is good.
Oh, come on in. Dude, one more.
No, you're good. It's just give me a little bit more gradual, patient, arms only move. The hands are just kind of along for the ride. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, good.
Not too bad out here.
No, I was surprised at how slow it was today. There you go.
Got it. Okay.
That's one shot. That's a lot of spin.
Okay.
You'll do that out of the rough, and you'll be able to hit them nice and high with some spin.
Okay. That's awesome, Clay. That's huge.
But yeah, generally the theme of the day is getting back on top of the plane
Okay.
and hitting our ball, you know, having our divot down and to the left.
Yeah. Did I lose one? No, 7 in this. That's all I got. That's yours.
Is that all you brought?